Welcome to Yeshiva Daf, sponsored by Nishma Sami Akashom Lab Basitzchok. We're holding in Sanhedrin Daf Kufyud. Yesterday we went a little bit into Kufyud and Aleph in the comparison of the two wives, the wife of Oymen Pelas and the wife of Koyrach, and we got down, let's say a quarter of the Omla down, to where the line starts with the word Ishta Koyrach, and when the words Ve'kumu Lifnei Moshe. That's what we're holding. Now, I'm going to say as a preview to the daf, this daf, together with all the dafim that we learned in the last few days, all the daf in Perek Chelik is full of agadatah and difficult stuff. But in these dafim, there's a lot of details. And each one of them, we know in agadatah, every line is something which has depth to it. And unfortunately, in the time of the daf, we can't go, first of all, to learn it, just to understand it takes a lot. So we're gonna stick to the pshat as much as we can. Here and there, if we have, we could talk about it for Yanim, but it's basically almost every line here is a whole to do. Second one, Moshe v'anoshim bnei Yisrael chamishu masayim. The Anshe Koyrach stood in front of Moshe with 250 people. Second one, Yuchodim shebeido. They were special. Kri moyed shayu yoidim laber shonim l'kfor chadoshim. They did the moyed. They did the calendar. Anshe Shem Shalom Shem Chaloim. They were chashur people. Vayishma Moshe yipol ponov mashmur shoma. What did he hear? Amar Shmuel bar Nachmani Rabbi Yonasan shechashdu me'eshes. They were chashur him that he is with eshes. Nemar kadul Moshe machane. They were lashon kina. Amar Shmuel ba'itzu l'ham shekol echad ve'echad kina es Moshe and yishter Moshe. Each one of Am Yisrael went to his wife and said, "I don't let you be with Moshe alone." So Moshe left the Machane because of that. Now this is a Pele Gadol. How is that Shaykh? Moshe Rabbeinu, the biggest tzaddik, the biggest ruchni, they are choshev with Eish. So the Farshim discuss this in length. There's a lot to talk about, and many explanations. The Barshon says they did not realize the level of Moshe. They saw Moshe, but it wasn't with his wife. So they felt maybe Moshe Rabbeinu has time for another wife, which is pale to think that way. There is a deeper inyan than Moshe Rabbeinu was he's connected to Klal Yisrael. So in a sense, he's connected each one in Klal Yisrael in a personal way. And they took it to another level to feel that maybe he's connected in a way which is inappropriate. And many of the first should bring different explanations, a lot to talk about here, but just to leave this as a question more. That's what we're probably going to do in many of the cases on this daf, is that it's a Pele Gadol of Pashup Shah in the Gemara. Moshe comes to Dosim Avir. Dosim Avir did something wrong. Why is Moshe Rabbeinu going to them? Because Moshe Rabbeinu wants to stop the machlokes. You try your best to stop the machlokes. Anybody who holds on to machlokes is oiver belav. So interesting, by Moshe Rabbeinu, this law didn't exist because it happened only after the story of Koyrach. But you see the roots in the Torah not to have machlekes. Rashi Omar Roy leads to Reha. K'tiv Ocho biyad Moshe Loi. K'tiv Ocho v'yem Hashem Loi Oy David Yoy Yotcha B'chikecho. So it says Bayad Moshe Loi and it says Loi B'yotcha. So we're seeing that we have a comparison of the hand of Moshe, and we're talking about Saras for someone who's Choylek. Obviously, it's called a Choylek al Malchus, but now the Gemara brings other Inyanim regarding machlekes. Starting with Malchus Beis David. Someone who argues, who rebels against Malchus Beis David, a snake should bite him. So was trying to take the Malchus to himself. The snake should come and take him away. One Indian to stand is David the Melech comes to the Taket of the Marisha. So if you're fighting him, you're basically going back to remove the tikkun of the Marishan, and then you get involved in Nachash. Anybody who argues with his Rebbe, now the most you bring a few, start with the Machlekes, comparing a Rebbe to Shechina. Rebbe is the access, is the connection to Shechina. So they fought with Hashem. They didn't fight with Hashem, they fought with Moshe Rabbeinu. It's considered to be the fight with Hashem. Anybody fights with his Rebbe, he has kindness on his Rebbe. Don't complain to, you're not complaining about us, complain about Hashem. Even thinking a thought against the Rebbe. That because it says so they thought about it. So if you realize here, it goes in levels. Starts with machlekes. Machlekes is the worst. Then it goes down to machlekes, just fighting with the Rebbe, like having a fight. It's not machlekes. Then you have a taina, a complaint, and then even just thinking or talking about it. The right, so the also having richness for his own bad. Who's that on Mishloach is the Oishush Lekoyach. He was so rich and he caused it to do something wrong. It's called a Kumash Shabbat that says that everything was swallowed, including the yikum in their feet. That's the money of a person who makes him stand on his feet. It's the yikum loshim hakam, to stand. Mama Levi. 300 Pardes Levanos, meaning white mules, was the load to carry the keys of Korach's treasures. Which means it's the keys and the locks. So many of us put in this is a guzma. Every time it says 300 is a guzma. Means that he had this treasure was so much, just the keys were all low. Yosef, who basically took all the money of Mitzrayim, he put 3 treasures. One koyach took. Antonius that was the counterpart of Rebbe. What does it mean for Tziddik? These are 3 oitros, need to understand why these 3. He wasn't swallowed and he wasn't burned. It swallowed everything for Korach, but not Korach himself. It burned the 250 people, but not Korach. He's both. According to the other, Korach refers to the next sentence we'll see in a moment. Korach is one of them. So, machlekes, is it neither or both? Now, if it's neither, so what is it? Rashi says magefo. He died in the plague. The Marshal and the Maharal both here go on to explain that there's 2 things going there's two gathers, the word by Korach. One was questioning Moshe Rabbeinu, and one was questioning HaKadosh Baruch Hu, going against HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And there's 2 pieces over here. There's a Blia and there is a Sreifa. And each one is for a different thing. And the Shaila is Korach part of both, or really is a standalone thing. So that's the machlekes to it. Does he have both or neither? How does he have both? Rashi explains that he burned, and then his body was swallowed. This we saw in the Gemara in Soito. In Nidarim. It says, Milad Shol, Shevach went up to Shemaim. If you don't judge Ben Amram, so if you do judgment, will come out and serve the world as you're supposed to. And now we're not going out. Says so HaKadosh Baruch, so to speak, shot arrows on the sun and the moon. When people come and worship HaKadosh Baruch, you don't care. But now when the time against Moshe Rabbeinu, and then you do a mecha, that's why today, every day, for the sun and the moon to come out, HaKadosh Baruch, so to speak, has to send arrows on them. So obviously there's a lot of oimik in this main word. Just one thing to point out is that what was the time of Korach? Everybody's, we don't need Moshe Rabbeinu. I don't need we're good on all. Meaning they don't have what Moshe Rabbeinu is. They think Moshe Rabbeinu is a middleman. And they say we don't need it. So it says the sun and the moon. If they're going to think that Moshe Rabbeinu is a middleman, they're going to think the sun and the moon is a middle. And they're going to think it's a desire. We wanted them to know that everything is coming from Hakadosh Baruch Hu. The more Pio, who says, In Yivra, in Bria, Yivra Hashem. More dash wasn't mean. How much in Bria? Gehenom, if already Gehenom was created, Muto. In Lav Yivra Hashem. Hashem is created now. Lamai, what do I mean to actually create it now? There's nothing new under the sun. There's no new creations. To make the entrance of Gehenom closer to this area. So there was Gehenom, which is where the door of Gehenom is. So the woman they had like a place in Gehenom where they sat on. For Shir, they said Shir. This following more we learn about Basu and Nagatas and Rabbi Becham. I was going the way. Came this Ishmaeli. Let me show you the swallow people of Koyach. Saw two holes where smoke is coming out of it. He took a little bit of cloth, cotton in water. He put a little water in it, put it on top of a spear. He put it into these holes. It got burnt. Listen what they're saying. They are the liars, meaning that's the blue Koyach, that's the Koyach people that are swallowed. They put you in the base on top. Only every 30 days they're turned around. They say and this is the also deep memra regarding the misa of blue Koyach and how they're punished and they moed them Moshe Rabbeinu, and maybe we'll discuss this in the Shom Achshav of the staff, just to go back to where we learned about Basu. Second Torah Midbar Elam Chek L'Lamabo. Torah Bono Torah Midbar Elam Chek L'Lamabo. Shenema B'Midbar Zeh Yitom Yishom Yamusu. Yitom B'Elam Hazeh Yishom Musa L'Lamabo. According to this, Rabbi Akiva, they don't have L'Lamabo. V'Neimar V'Omar Shenishbati B'Apim Yavo Nuchasim. Not covered with Nucha. Divrei Rabbi Akiva. Lozo Imer Lo L'Lamabo Ebaim Lo L'Lamabo. The Duka. Shema Asuli Chasidai Korsi Brisi Alei Zevach. Collect it, bring them together. Elamai Nekav Shenishbati B'Apim. What does it mean? I'm doing a din of shvur? I did a shvur, but I'm going to change my mind. This pasuk is talking about something else. Suli chasidai. You want to say from here you learn they have chag l'ambo? No, it's speaking about something else. Suli chasidai tzaddik shivchol dor v'dor. Bring the tzaddik for every generation. Korei brisim. Who was that? Eluchanayim sharazah shemosu hatzon toch kevshanesh. Jumped into the fight. Alei zevach elukiva chaver shemosu hatzon l'shchito. Elukiva his friends that agreed to kill themselves. I'll leave it to you. Shimon Asel Omer. That's it. Shimon Asel Omer ba'im l'abo shenemar v'duyi Hashem yeshuvun uvo tzion berino. V'duyi Hashem will come with tzion with song. Akiva left his Chasidus. The Gemara is going to say in a moment, a few lines down, what was the Chasidus of Akiva? Shema, it says Akiva went down in a more stringent way, because it says Aloich v'karasa was neu shalayim le'nor zacharti l'chesed ne'reich ahavas k'losaych lech ta'chayv ha'midbar be'eretz Yisrael. The pasuk says Shmuel remembers the chesed of Dor Midbar. Everybody else comes because they're schos. Of course, they're going to come back. So here there's a very deep inyan, which brings us we go into the Shom Achshava, the Daf, is that during Midbar, when it says here that according to Akiva Lo Yiboyin Lo Mabo, says the Ramami Pana, and so brings the Kedusha Slavi, that what Akiva means Lo Yiboyin Lo Mabo, they don't need to come to Lo Mabo, because they're already living life of Lo Mabo. And this obviously needs an explanation. What does it mean? Maybe one way to understand is they're going to another level of Lo Mabo. They don't have to go to the first level of Lo Mabo, but it just gives a little taste. Why they're a midbar, they're there, doesn't go to Lo Mabo. Very hard to understand that. So Kedusha Slavi says very, very stark that of course everybody agrees they do come to Lo Mabo. But a similar concept in the next Mishnah. Asaras Shvatim not coming back. Potentially they went to go to Shenema, Tishtachem Le'Tzachez Kerem Azeh, Ma'yoim Olech Ve'en Choizer, Afhem Olchi Ve'en Choizer Derekiva. They're going not coming back. Plus Oimer Kayom Azeh, Ma'yoim Ma'pil Umeir, Afasel Shvatim Shafel Lehem, Kach Atido La'ir Lehem. So he says no, it was dark, it's going to come back. It becomes light, so stay as darkness is going to come back. And so that's the idea. Kayoy mazeh, both dash of kayoy mazeh. Torah says the Gemara says the shvatim ein lem cheg lo labo. They don't have cheg lo labo. Sheneema ve'itshem Hashem me'al mosom be'af u'bechemu be'ketzel gadol Now Rashi already points out over here that we know that Yirmiyah Novi brought back a Seder Shvatim. So Rashi says he didn't bring back everybody. Every brought back does have Chayk L'Habo, but the ones who didn't bring back are not coming back. If they're still acting the way they acted till today, then they don't go back. If not, they go back. We talk about there, that's the Aseret Shvat. So, again, you have to understand, if for Bekiva, if the Rambam Pano that says that by Torah Midbar, Bekiva doesn't really mean or Labo, doesn't say it's saying about Aseret Shvatim, Pash is not. It says the Gemara, now Rashi, if you look at last Rashi in the on the right side, right, so Rashi says, when it says they don't come to Labo, it doesn't mean Labo, it means Moshe Mashiach. Shelo yikablei Mashiach im shar galuyos fishasibu begruz eretz Yisrael kedamar leil. So the Rashi brings an explanation, so far should go with it. So what it means over here, they don't have Chek Labo, means that Mashiach won't bring them back from Gos. But maybe they do have Labo. So that's a discussion over here regarding the Seder Shvatim. That's the same notion more so before. Kiva left as Chasidus. What does that mean? There was a pasuk in Navi, I'm going to bring back Am Yisrael. Right? So it says in the pasuk, the pasuk says that Yisrael is bringing back a Seder Shvatim. So that's what's against Rabbi Kiva. My Chasidus. So what is the Rabbi Kiva left as Chasidus? So the Gemara Dasha, the first one holds that young children of Rishayim, they don't come to Labo. Shneimar, ki ne'ayim bo katanu. The day that burns like an oven. The entire Rishayim will be like straw. And the day will burn. Won't leave them any root or branch. So they're gonna, there'll be nothing left from Rishayim, including their children. So if they have little children, they didn't accomplish anything, the little children go based on the father, and the father dies, and the little children go with him. That's what Gamliel says. Shemer Pseim Hashem. Sheken Koyim B'Kach Hayam Linuka Pasuk. Shemer Pseim means little children, and the little children referring to the Pseim Lashon child. For Yimer, another pasuk. This pasuk is a pasuk in the Nil, so it's in Aramaic. Cut the tree and remove it. Pram Ikar Shoshoi Be'ara Shvoiko. Leave the roots in the ground. And one says, referring to the kids. What does it mean? There will be no roots or branches for these Rishayim. Not going to leave any mitzvah to give them. In other words, he's going to give all the reward of the mitzvah in this world. The neshama and the guf will be gone. So that's what it says. So the Kiva here is telling us the children of Rishayim come to Olam. That's what he says. Kiva Shavkel Chasidusei. When Rav Kiva was an advocate to say that people come to Olam even when others thought not. Young children of Rishayim, Rav Kiva says come to Olam when others thought not. When it comes to the Midbar, it says the Shvatim, there Rav Kiva left as Chasidus, and there he's more strict, saying they don't come to Olam. So the children of Goyim that have the Rishayim, they for sure don't come to Olam. And here the question: do you say the Goyin and Rav Yosher book says don't say Rav Gamliel. This nafkali means obvious kol zecher lama. You take away all the zecher, which means the entire Goyim, the Rishayim, don't come to the Lama. Rashi puts out this goes obviously according to Mandama that holds that Goyim come to the Lama. Because if not, what's the chiddush that the children don't come? And no Goyim comes to the Lama. So you see with me, they all going come to the Labo, except the Rishayim. The children of the Rishayim go with them. There's no zecher. Says the Gemara, Itvar, Koton me'matai ba lo olam haba. When a child goes olam haba, this is a big issue. So you see from here, and this is the Maharal speaks about it, that you see that when a child is born, he already has a credit, so to speak, to go to olam haba. And that's part of the idea. Everybody who's born already has olam haba. Before he didn't accomplish anything. Now, our goal is to build on this olam haba and not to lose it. But you come with some credit. But the question is, when does that credit start? So it says the Gemara now a few shittas. And I, like everything else, especially here, everything has an emes to it. So it says the Gemara like this. When does it come to the labo? One says when he's born. The minute he's born, that's when he becomes a tzur sodom, when it comes to the labo. Only when he starts talking, because then he has the tzur sodom. Born. They talk. When they're right away when he is conceived. He does bismillah. So Rashi it says, if you look at the last few lines in Rashi on the left side, meaning he has the tzaddik. Because for the tzaddikim, for this person. In other words, when the fear of HaKadosh Baruch Hu is on me, that's when I'm a tzaddik. So, Oni, the Gerveya, Gerveya Lashon Gviya, Menur Nasasi Eimecho, your fear, Afuno, Lashon Eifen, is on me, when you have a Bismillah. Now, this, the first bring over here, that's why there's a minhag, that when a baby is born, if Chas Shalom, there's a miscarriage, and there's a fetus that comes out, to do an Bismillah on the body. Why? Because the Bismillah brings the Olam Haba. Another sheet when he says Amen, Shema Pisku Shorim, open the gates, talk about gates above there in Shemaim, V'evoget Tzadik Shoimer Emunim, keeping the trust, Atiki Shoimer Emunim, Ela Sheoimer Amen. So if you don't know my Amen, Amar Chanino, Kel Melech Lemon. Amen is Rosh Hashanah, Kel Melech Lemon, complete trust on HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and in the side, in addition, Masizatano Emes Melech Ne'emon, not Kel Melech Ne'emon, but Emes Melech Ne'emon. To say HaKadosh Baruch Hu is Emes, so he's referring to HaKadosh Baruch Hu as Emes. So only when the kid is able to say Amen, that's when he goes to Labo. So we have here just the portion of Shad the Gemara, without going into, Maharal goes in to explain the different opinions. But in the portion of Shad over here, we have a few shittas. Either when he's conceived, that's probably the earliest time, or when he's born, or when he gets a Bismillah, or when he starts talking, or not have to say talking, but he has to say Amen. That's like basically 5 stages in the growth of the baby, and each one it says that's the time that he's Zoich Labo. In other words, as the Maharal goes on to explain, when does it become a Tzuras Abdon that belongs to Labo? That's really the discussion. 5 different opinions and 5 different stages, and obviously there's a lot to talk about it, but we'll leave it with this. So Be'ez Hashem will continue from the top of the Amud in the next year. Be'ez Hashem, I'll send out the information when it's going to be. Have a wonderful day. Kol Tov.